is 5:15, October 17th, 2023. I will call the meeting to order. Jane, will you do a roll call?
Rudolph.
We call the mayor.
Yeah. Kickle got young, so.
Shaven.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Lindbergh.
Here.
Councilmember Kroger and Councilmember Bielenberg are absent this evening.
And we've all received the agenda. I don't think there's any changes on that. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Shaven.
We'll call Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Thank you.
And state any conflicts now or along the way if they come up. Move on to the consent agenda. These are all under one motion, one vote. We have the minutes of the October 3rd, 2023 council meeting. Claims list number 1,300 in the amount of $307,614.45. You all saw some of those larger amounts.
Sheriff's County Sheriff, or
Yeah, that
the
was
Shelby
good.
County Sheriff was 205, so that was the major one.
I don't think there's anybody have any questions, concerns, any of those, no?
No.
And the expenditure and revenue reports for the month of September 2023. Sheriff's statistical report for September of 2023. And then the new application for Your Private Bartender, LLC, doing business as Your Private Bar for a Class C retail alcohol license, which is like a 5-day license for an event at the Turkelson. Saw the notes in there about that.
Something new.
Yeah. Hearing no other concerns or questions, or a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Peterson.
Roll call Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindbergh.
Aye.
Thank you.
Under other business, first is the review of the marketing agreement between Utility Service Partners Private Label, Inc., doing business as Service Line Warranties of America, a subsidiary of HomeServe USA Corporation.
Say that again.
Nope. Gene, you can. Anything you want to add to that,
A
Gene?
brief recap, this was looked at the end of July and then by the committee, as well as at the, I believe, the 1st of August council meeting. HomeServe, they're supported and endorsed by the National League of Cities and the Iowa League of Cities, over 120 Iowa communities provide this offering to their citizens. This is entirely voluntary, and this essentially provides coverage if someone were to sign up from the main or what the city ownership is to the home. Again, entirely voluntary. This would, we're offering it for sewer. HME looked at it for water, but at this time it just didn't make sense to do the water line program. And with your approval this evening, it was recommended previously to the council, and we felt this was something we wanted to move forward with. Then we would begin working with HomeServe on the implementation part of it. Their estimate is that would take 60 to 90 days. So sometime after the first year might be their first reach out or contact with mailing out to the citizens. It's a program we think can provide a lot of education. Again, it is voluntary, and city attorney has reviewed this agreement as well and approved it. Happy to answer any questions. The cost for the sewer line lateral or private sewer line is $7.75 a month. And again, that would cover from the city responsibility, the main, up to inside the home. And I believe it's $8,500 per incident is the coverage they would provide. And that would all be disclosed with marketing materials and upon their sign up. Happy to answer any questions, and otherwise would, again, recommend we move forward, but that's subject to your approval.
For public's clarity, there's nothing back that comes back to the city. This is strictly their agreement.
There is there's 50 cents per month as far as per policy or per policy that would come back to the city.
Okay.
of that $775 a month in this marketing agreement. And I can't recall the number, but I believe they say 80 to 90% of the other municipalities do capture that as well.
They mentioned a common dollar amount or cent amount. Yeah.
That's 50 cents.
Anything else for Gene? Questions, concerns? Is there a motion to enter into this marketing agreement?
All motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Shaven.
Roll call Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Review a parking spot closing permit for the Shelby County Chamber of Harvest Fest on the downtown square on the 27th of October from 8 a.m. to the next day, the 28th at 8 a.m. Those are just two spots right across from,
From Floral Elegance.
we talked about this last time.
Yeah, it's just a vendor who wants to set up a little earlier than the rest of the vendors. Most of the vendors won't set up until Saturday morning. But this vendor has a little bit larger of a display, and just because of their own personal timing, it would help them if they could set up on Friday instead of Saturday. And it's just south, east side, just almost like those first two spots right there.
Anybody have any questions, concerns about that, Todd, or, no? Is there a motion to approve parking spot closure permit?
Motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Rudolph.
Roll call Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next up would be Resolution 2546, City of Harlan Credit Card Policy Update. We're just changing a few of those departments from
Yes, this was
2017.
updated or reviewed in 2017, and we're now 6 years later, and based upon, there's been a few examples in the past few years where we've had departments who've been at a training between hotel and meals, of which that caps out. Again, and then also just with rising prices and inflation, it looks a lot different than it did 6 years ago. And there were a few departments that were less than 4,000, so that's what got updated. We included in the packet both the previous and the recommended, bring a few of those departments up to the 4,000 limit. And again, these would be, pre-approved, pre-budgeted items, and then also in our policy, just as it was before, is any emergency items.
There were two departments taken off, police and reserve, so those were taken off, so it went from those 10 to 8. So it's just the last 4 that were updated.
Questions about that? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2546?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Shaven.
Roll call Rudolph.
Aye.
Shaven.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to City Administrator's Report.
Well, I show it's 5:24, so this should provide plenty of time to provide some activities and updates, and just wanted to recap or highlight a few things either gone on or that are coming up. Had a successful, hats off to our fire department. What an awesome team. They had a successful fire prevention week. It kicked off with the breakfast, I believe it was on the 8th, and then continued with activities throughout the week and a number of pizza deliveries that took place, and appreciate everyone's support of the fire department. And as always, always looking for new, excited, energetic volunteers, interested individuals. Talk to any fire department member or fire chief for opportunities there to volunteer and serve on the department. A couple of updates regarding the Dream Playground project. The fundraising and grants committee met a week ago, had a very energetic and invigorating update. To date, there's been over between donations made as well as pledges were near $110,000, which is an excellent milestone to hit, yet we have quite a ways to go. That doesn't include any of, until we get to, probably 400,000 is where we think we know that some of the last money in grants, such as a CAT grant through the state or Iowa West and other large grant opportunities would be last money in. One of the main outcomes from the committee discussion last week was considering other donation levels. So more to come on that they're considering, and one of them would be what it would take for consideration of naming rights for the playground. There's been some initial discussions with some potential major donors, and embarking on that discussion that what would be necessary to have consideration of naming rights. One additional note with that, the Parks Committee board met last week, and some question/concern was brought forth, and certainly want to bring it forth to you all as well as the public, that there was some question or some concern raised is the current playground being ignored or neglected to show signs of we're not going to support it anymore, just let it deteriorate, and that is far from the truth. There was some deferred maintenance and specifically weeds that had not been tended to. Those have now been cleaned up, but just want to be clear for the record that there's no intent from city staff or you as elected officials that we're aware of that we're going to stop maintaining the current playground. But any questions, concerns, feel free to direct those to city staff or the Parks Department. Yet within just 24 to 40 hours that those weeds were taken care of. And the playground's still usable and serviceable. Yet we know it's time to reimagine it, which is the idea there. We recently posted, again, some community updates that the yard waste site, again, that's down at Industrial Utility Avenue, reminds citizens that any of the grass clippings and yard waste, as well as any of the tree debris, that is free for the public to take. So if someone wants to do additional composting, we've had a couple of farmers take some for compost out in the rural area. But any of the yard waste and grass clippings, and so we reposted that on city social media. And if anyone's looking for large quantities of those, we certainly could assist with helping load those items. So wanted to create awareness there. The EMS town hall meetings, those went well. There were 5 of them held. Just a reminder to the public and everyone that November 7th is the vote for determining the future of what EMS looks like, potentially for Shelby County. I believe it's tomorrow that you can start voting by going to the courthouse. So you can vote early that way, or certainly encourage folks to get out and vote on November 7th. There's a whole host of information out on the Shelby County website under the Departments tab. EMS Advisory Council that should answer most all of citizens' questions. Yet if not, reach out to any of those advisory committee members, and I'm sure they could help address any questions or comments you have. Reminder once again, the end of the month is trick or treat, and City of Harlan, we've deemed that to be 5:30 to 7:30. And again, we've got that on social media and on the newspaper and chamber. Just help communicate those things, but remind citizens that that's Tuesday the 31st from 5:30 to 7:30. A couple of other park updates. Park restrooms, getting to be that time of year where it's cooler evenings. So the target is by the end of the month, they've started winterizing some of the water fountains, 1 or 2 of the restrooms, but by the end of the month, all restrooms should be winterized and closed up. So just take note of that if you're going out to enjoy the parks, that the restroom or restrooms may not be available. They've also been completing some fall spraying within the parks here in the past few weeks. The last couple items, and then I'll finish up with a little bit of show and tell, which City Hall will be closed Friday, November 10th. So November 11th is Veterans Day, and that's on a Saturday, so that's recognized the day before. So City Hall and services would be closed on Friday, November 10th. And then we were just discussing before kicked off the session that in your packets was, or included, suggested timeline with our budget season that's rapidly approaching. So if there's any other conflicts with that schedule we've outlined from now through first part of March, the key ones being end of November and the first one in December with the budget hearings. And get back to Jane on that if you would. Showing a picture here. So as you came in this evening, you've seen that we've been discussing some of the transformation on the facelift to City Hall. So the upper photo here is the before look. And then this is a fresh new photo taken this afternoon, I believe, with the new exterior color, different color trim, and then just installed yesterday off to the right here is the, really stands out, the new City Hall lettering. So kudos to all of the city staff, Jane and City Hall team and their departments that helped out. A few final touches still need to be made, but significant facelift has taken place. Also included a nighttime photo taken a few weeks ago just after some of the front was painted. We have some additional electrical troubleshooting to do on the other soffit lights, actually further down to the east here. Yet once that's finished up, it'll provide I think, a very attractive updated look to our main hub of city activity. And so again, hats off to everyone involved with that. And Jonathan, I will get these to you at HMU to share with the rebroadcast that you do. Also, in the parks, three additional signs have been installed. Some of them were installed a year ago, and we had 3 parks to finish up. So now Spearing Park, as well as BB Park, has been finished up. And then also out at Little George, as you come in from the south, from the north. So we've got consistent signage across all of our parks. Nice work by the Parks Board and the park staff, getting those updated from the previous wooden, faded and sometimes somewhat rotted signs, and look forward to many years of nice fresh look with the new signs. And then lastly, just a week ago, if you go out to cityofharlan.com, it's the same URL that we have transitioned to a new website. SOCS, that's SOCS, is our new website vendor. And again, Jane and Jennifer and Ashley, as well as the department heads, have provided relevant, fresh updates and content. This is now able to be managed in-house and more timely updates. There's still a few tweaks and adjustments we're making, yet definitely a nice new look. Again, it's the same URL, no changes you need to make there. But a couple items I'll point out. Under the Departments tab, we've also added the yard waste site. So this includes information about the yard waste guidelines, a map of how to get there. The Parks Department, click on that tab, you'll see some new photos. And then there's a real quick, easy reference to each park, its location, the amenities that are at that park, and then each park has a link that takes you out just some recent updated photos for all the parks. And 2 other tabs I would bring attention to would be the codes, permits, and licenses. So a quick reference to get to any online permits, and we're still working on, that's one of the other final updates, is an updated city code. And then lastly, a quick link out to public notices and forms. So any common forms, multi-purpose permit, which would be things like street closing, noise variance. So we think a lot more user-friendly. Appreciate any feedback as you navigate this, or if citizens do. So a lot of updates and releases. So, and again, hats off to the team that's worked really hard to make this happen. And with that, I would entertain, since I've still got 25 minutes, but any questions or comments that you have?
Well, city park signs look nice. I was a little nervous there because it was blank for a couple weeks. I was curious.
Waiting for final install. Some of the posts were mounted and concrete was poured, but
They were blank for a few weeks. Good to see them together though. Looks nice.
Okay,
one final item, an item that you can anticipate on the November 7th council agenda is we met with some staff, our insurance agent today, and taking a look at with some flood policy renewals that we will likely have on either the 7th or 21st agenda, some recommendations either to modify those flood policies or potentially even cancel them. And we'll review that with our engineer next week. But just a heads up, based upon either flood mitigation or as we really took a deeper dive on some of these renewals as to is that a necessary policy to keep. So we'll have more information for you on that.
maybe if we talk about it, it'll rain more.
Thought you wanted to get out so you can get out of the insurance.
And again, that's all I have unless you have other questions or comments.
Okay, thanks, Gene. Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Todd Bowling.
Good evening.
Todd?
Just a quick list. With the upcoming election, just wanted to make everyone aware that we will actually have 2 candidate forums in Shelby County this year. The first one will be Tuesday, October 24th, and that will be at 6 p.m. It'll be held at the Elkhorn Library in Elkhorn, and that will be for their city council. They have 4 candidates for their city council seats, and they have 3 seats available. And then here in Harlan, we will have one on October 26th, that Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to hold the forum out at the chamber, out in our atrium. The specific reason for the forum is the at-large Lincoln Ward Council seat. We have 2 candidates for the seat, but then any other person who is on the ballot, you may just not have a competitive race. But if you'd like to speak, please come on out and we'll give you a couple minutes to speak. Then also on Tuesday, October 24th at 11 o'clock in the morning, we're going to be holding a ribbon cutting for the new Murtu Medical Center Auxiliary Unique Boutique that they've installed. That's now located at the main clinic entrance off of Chapman Avenue. And looking forward to that. It looks really great online. Looks like they've got it set up really well. Then, as we were talking a little bit earlier, we do have the Harvest Fest coming up at the last Saturday of the month. And something we started last year and we're going to continue this year is the chamber will be holding basically a free will donation bake sale. We're just looking for baked goods to be donated for that bake sale. And all proceeds from that bake sale go to buy pool passes for children that are in need and need a little bit of help getting pool passes for the summer. And then just one other thing I wanted to note, because there's been a little bit of a change to the mobile food pantry. So the next one will be next Monday at 4:30. They will still have one drive-through lane for folks who just are in a health situation where they can't get out of the car. But they're going to go back to the old system of when you go to the mobile food pantry, you'll go into Veterans Auditorium, pick up your food, walk around, pick up your food, and then bring it back out versus it all being a drive-through. So just plan for that if you're planning on going to the food pantry. And other than that, that's it from the chamber for tonight.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Harlan Municipal Utilities, Joe Ruschenberg.
Hello, everyone. Just a couple items. Raw water project update. Things are going well. Drilled the first well. Looks like it's going to be a good producer. They've done some pump testing on it. But we did, contractor went ahead and started on the second well. Ended up, we got into not as good of a formation of sand and gravel. So we ended up abandoning that spot before we actually set the casing and screen on that. We did have, and then that led into wanting to do some test holes before we actually go and drill the next well. And that's just a little bit cheaper. They just do a smaller diameter hole just to see what the formation is, to see if that's going to be a good location, just to do a little bit better job trying to pinpoint the better areas to drill the well. We had a special electronic board meeting this afternoon at 4 just to discuss a change order for about an additional, I think it was $11,660 or something like that for 2 test wells, or test holes, I should say. So the contractor should get started on those tomorrow for this week. And then that way, like I said, we can pinpoint maybe a little bit better area. So we're not utilizing time, I guess, drilling the production well if that's not a good location. So, you know, the engineer did a lot of studying, but still, I mean, I think you can only do so much. You don't know exactly where that sand and gravel is underground. So this will help us pinpoint it to where maybe we get it at the best spots that we can for those 2 additional wells down in the south well field. And then we would have the 4th well is going to go on our east well field there along Maple Avenue. So things are going good with that. Like I said, except for wells, but I think we're going to, you know, we get this information, we'll have a good handle on that where to go with the next 2 wells. Only other item I had, and the mayor and I talked a little bit, board replacement for David Terrell. Actually, his last day or last meeting is going to be November 21st. So we probably need, you know, we need to have somebody in place at that point. So I guess as far as the public, if anybody's interested in becoming a board member, we just got to stop in here at City Hall, right? And just fill out some
Fill out
paperwork.
it. We have
If
forms.
they're interested, so.
Yep.
I assume then we'd probably have to have that taken care of your first meeting in November.
Yes.
So maybe we gotta just talk through that a little bit more, but like I said, if there's any public out there that's interested, please stop in the City Hall. That's all I have, is just those 2 items. I don't have any questions for me.
The drinking water advisory, Joe? Is that
Part of our, the construction, they were on the east side of the river, laying new pipe to go over to our east well field, over to Maple Avenue. And they hit a pipe that didn't know was there, or we were unable to actually locate it. None of our maps showed it, but it was our 6-inch main feeder line going east to, you know, east side of the river. So they hit that, got that repaired, but of course we're gonna have to take bacteria tests. They took a set today. They will take another set tomorrow. So it'll probably be likely Thursday before we get the cleared on the bacteria samples to where people wouldn't have to boil. But to that point, it affects, like I said, everything east of the river, including Crest Haven. So it'd be Essentia, Nelson's, kind of everybody over there is the only ones that it affects at this point.
Was it any homes on the east side of Exchange also, Joe, or is that?
No, it's saying Exchange East. I mean, basically from our old facility east. They're just basically east of the river.
Okay.
Doesn't include, I guess there is at 17 there along Maple Avenue, the Nishna Valley Association. You know, there's water that we supply there along Maple Avenue also. But their connection is actually down by the sewage treatment plant, so they were not affected. So it'd basically be, the only homes would be Crest Haven. And so, like I said, we sent out that information via Facebook, even had it on KNOV, just so people are aware.
We shared it on our Facebook too.
Yeah. So like I said, basically that's what happened, just one of those that they hit as far as putting in the new piping. They get it repaired, and at least we're moving in the right direction. All right?
okay?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Shelby County Sheriff's update. We have the information. Sergeant Butler is here. Anything you need to add to that, or any questions for him, I guess, as far as?
Anything to add to it? You have the stats for the month, right?
Yep.
Any questions for us, or comments, concerns?
You guys seem to be busy.
Always something.
Doesn't sound like it. Okay, thank you. Any comments from the public? Anybody else here want to add anything to this before we? Kyle, you still awake?
Yes, Mayor, I'm still here.
Okay, anything to add?
No, just ready to get healthy, get back to work.
Okay,
As
I'm sure Captain Butler's ready for it too.
As Chad was updating, it made me think to update as well for the community that we have hired our code enforcement position, and that was an opportunity for some job broadening and growth for an existing employee, which is why we have posted, started advertising for an operator, light equipment operator in the street department, and that position's advertised out on the website as well. And that closes next Monday, so any interested candidates, we've had a few applications thus far, and taking new applications, and it will be a bit of a domino effect, right? So until that, we can get that position filled, we have Jack Hubels, who will be stepping into the new code enforcement role, and appreciate support of the Sheriff's Department, not only up to now, but we know that'll be a key piece in working hand in hand with our new code enforcement. There'll be a few hiccups as we, get going, but by next spring and summer, which will be the real high time, I think. But appreciate the progress we've made, and R.J. Bielenberg, who sits on council but is at the Sheriff's Office, has been a key support as well. So nice progress being made there.
okay. Nothing else? Meeting adjourned.